Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 Carry Comp versus SIG P365 380, a concealed carry comparison. We're back out at the beautiful banner shooting range for another exciting video in our Bodyguard 2 Carry Comp versus series. In today's video, the carry comp is going head to head against the SIG P365 380. And looking at these firearms, let me close the action on them real quick. Similar length, same size barrel, though I think, especially with the XL grip, they're similar in the grip length. The biggest difference is not on paper, but in the hand, it's going to be the width of the firearm. In the hand, the SIG is slightly wider than the Bodyguard 2 carry comp. Let's see if it makes a difference in terms of the holes on paper results on today's video. We'll start with the Bodyguard 2 carry comp. I'll start at the bottom left-hand target. I'll do a 12-round magazine. Then we'll shoot the P365 380 at the bottom right target, also using the 12-round magazine. Here we go. Okay, my first shot was a little high. That was just me. I need to get my sight picture figured out with that firearm. I don't have it dialed in right now where I get it on my first shot yet. Let's see how the P365 does. Here we go. All 12 from our P365 380 are on the target. At least 11 of 12. On the target with our Bodyguard 2.0 carry comp. Let's do one more 12-round magazine each of our targets now that we have the sights a little more figured out. See if we can do better. Here we go. From back here, it felt like we probably had all 12 on the target. We'll have to count it up when the range goes cold. And now the P365 with its 12. Here we go. Okay, we have a failure to feed. Okay, one failure, quite uncommon from our P365. Could that be the cheap Winchester white box range ammo? Potentially. I'm going to say all 12 are on the target. Again, we'll have to count it up when the range goes cold. For our newer viewers and those unfamiliar with these firearms, we're going to go over the details and the numbers on them now. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 Performance Center Carry Comp is a micro-compact, double-stack magazine-fed pistol chambered in 380 ACP. It is 5.85 inches long, 4 inches high, 0.88 inches wide, and weighs in at 11.8 ounces unloaded. This firearm has a 3.1-inch stainless steel barrel. It has a Mariglow tritium front night sight with an anti-glare square notch rear sight. The sights are replaceable. The carry comp has a stainless steel slide and barrel, a polymer frame. The slide and barrel have Smith & Wesson's Armor Night finish. This firearm has a 3.1-inch barrel compared to the 2 3/4-inch barrel of the original Bodyguard 2. The slide has Smith & Wesson's carry comp with a power port in the barrel designed to help reduce recoil. It does have a different set of sights and slide serrations compared to the original Bodyguard 2. It comes with one 10-round and one 12-round magazine and is approximately $100 more expensive compared to the original Bodyguard 2. Here you can see that squared off anti-glare rear sight along with the Ameriglow tritium front sight. These are updated sights from the original Bodyguard 2 that many people will probably prefer compared to those original sights. The trigger on the carry comp is Smith & Wesson's flat face trigger. Off my gauge, it comes in at around 3 pounds, 1 ounce. The defining characteristic that sets it apart from the original Bodyguard 2 are the carry comp has a slide integrated compensator along with a 3.1-inch barrel that has Smith & Wesson's power port in it to help reduce recoil. The SIG P365 380 is also a micro-compact double-stack magazine-fed pistol chambered in 380 ACP. It is 5.8 inches long, 4.2 inches high, 1 inch wide, and weighs in at 15.7 ounces unloaded. This firearm also has a 3.1-inch barrel, so it's carbon steel. It comes with the SIG Light 3-dot night sight setup, though it is also optics ready from the factory. The P365 has a stainless steel slide and fire control unit, along with a carbon steel barrel and a polymer grip frame. This firearm is optics ready without needing a plate and has the RMSC footprint. It retains the rear sight when the optic is mounted. It was SIG's first 365 model to use the newer optics cut that retained the rear sight. Being chambered in 380, this firearm is marketed as having a lighter rack and lower recoil compared to the 9mm versions of the P365. On this firearm, the fire control unit is considered the firearm, and it comes with two 10-round magazines. The sights on the P365 are the SIG Light 3-dot night sights. These are a tritium night sight set of sights, and they are replaceable. In addition to the night sights, this firearm also comes optics ready. It has the RMSC footprint, so a sight with that footprint you can mount without needing a mounting plate, which is nice. The trigger on the P365 380 is SIG's curved trigger. Off my gauge, it comes in at approximately 4.5 pounds. Let's now do some double taps to assess potentially the impact of that power port on the Bodyguard 2 compared to our 365 380. For both firearms, I'll do a single shot, 4 double taps, a single shot, finish it out. We're just doing 10 in each magazine for round numbers. I'll do the top left target with the carry comp. Then we'll do the P365. Here we go. Maybe 8 of 10. We'll have to count it up again when the range goes cold. Let's see if we can do better with our P365. Here we go. Right hand target. Okay, so it almost looks like domination from the 365 from back here. On paper, the SIG P365 380 and the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2 carry comp are very similar in size, though the 365 380 is obviously a little taller. wider, and heavier firearm, though on paper, interestingly enough, the Bodyguard 2 carry comp is a hair longer. Both these firearms are striker fired and have a 3.1-inch barrel. They also have similar capacities with 10 plus 1, 12 plus 1, though on the SIG P365, if you're crafty, you can get higher capacity magazines, 15 plus 1, 17 plus 1, and probably above 20. Some of you are probably thinking about now, aren't you shooting the P365 380 with the XL grip? How does that compare? Well, as you can see with the XL grip, on paper, the P365 has even more of a height advantage over the Bodyguard 2 carry comp, though interestingly enough, off my scale, it actually is a little lighter, coming in at 13.7 ounces compared to 11.8 ounces. Though obviously it still has about a 2-ounce weight advantage over the carry comp, or disadvantage depending on how you want to look at it. Also in this configuration, the SIG now has a flat face trigger that off my gauge comes in around 4.1 pounds, so about a pound heavier, we'll say, compared to our Bodyguard 2 carry comp. As a final test of these two firearms in today's video, we have two 2-inch challenge targets up on the board. I'll do 5 shots from each firearm at a slow measured pace at these targets, and we'll see which one puts more hits, if any, on those targets. We'll start again with the Bodyguard 2 carry comp at our left-hand challenge target. Here we go. Okay, looks like 2 of 5 on our target with the carry comp. One at about 11 o'clock on the target. One just off the bullseye at maybe 4 to 5 o'clock. Let's see if we can match that or do better with our P365. Here we go. Okay. I think we have 3 on the challenge target with our P365. One might be a perfect dead center bullseye on that target. We'll have to walk down and see. From back here, it seems like the P365 won the day. And in our previous comparisons, where the power port made a noticeable difference in terms of between our Bodyguard 2 and the LCP Max to help lessen the recoil, shall we say, compared to the slightly larger in terms of width firearm in today's P365 380, I would say the P365 380 with, I have the XL grip on mine, less recoil in the hand compared to our carry comp. In today's video, we saw the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 carry comp go up against what I would consider its toughest challenger currently available on the market. As far as the size of the two firearms we're looking at here today, other than a slight difference in width and a couple ounces in weight, the firearms are pretty much identical, though they do have some features to try to differentiate themselves from one another besides just the brand name on the side. For example, our Smith & Wesson 2.0 carry comp has that compensator and power port, while the P365 380 is optics ready with that RMSC footprint, so you can easily mount an optic without needing a mounting plate. Some people are going to look at these firearms and they're going to say things like, well, you can't pocket carry those firearms because they're bigger than the LCP, wah, wah, wah. Well, as you can see here, or hopefully you can't see, I have one firearm in my left pocket, one firearm in my right pocket, along with a pocket holster for each one. Which firearm is in which pocket? Let's go ahead and mix it up and see if you can guess which firearm is in which pocket now. Hold on. Okay, which firearm is in which pocket? Let's switch it up one more time. Okay, which firearm is in which pocket? But wait, there's more. Let's mix it up one last time. What about now? Which firearm is in which pocket? Also, let me do a slow spin for you. Could you tell which firearm was where? Well, in the first couple times before I did the spin, the firearms, we had one firearm in each pocket. Though before this most recent question, I did mix things up a little bit. And as you can see here, my SIG P365 XL is in my carry holster, which I usually carry inside waistband. Now, I happen to have a very similar holster for my Bodyguard 2, though it does not fit my carry comp. I still need to get an inside waistband holster for my carry comp. Though if you guessed that the Bodyguard 2.0 carry comp was in my left hand pocket, you guessed correct. And if you guessed that most recently when the SIG was in my pocket, it was in my right hand pocket, you would have guessed correct there as well. Though obviously, SIG is not in this pocket because it's on my waistband at the moment. But one thing I think we saw in today's video in terms of the holes on paper results is, while both these firearms are accurate, with time, my accuracy will improve with the carry comp. While I do have something like 500 rounds through it at this point, I've shot something like 14 different ammos and haven't really had a chance to seriously dial in my sight picture with this firearm yet, which will be the next thing I work on as we move towards our 1,000 round review of this firearm. And we saw, because of the practice that I have with this P365 380, as well as some things that give it an advantage, like a slightly bigger grip, a firearm that I've tailored to myself, i.e., I put the XL grip on it because it fits my hand better and I shoot better with that grip on there compared to the original grip, that it had some advantages here today. Now, one other thing that I think was obvious, at least as the shooter's point of view, was while the carry comp with its power port does have the recoil advantage over the Bodyguard 2, the LCP Max, and other what we'll call pocketable micro compact 380s, when we step up to something that's more like an apples to apples size wise comparison that has a weight advantage with extra weight, or again, disadvantage, depending on how you want to look at it, that extra weight, mass, and the size that helps keep a secure hold of the firearm made the P365 380 have less felt recoil and become a more controllable firearm in the hand compared to our Bodyguard 2.0 carry comp. Now, both these firearms are striker fired firearms. With the XL grip, they both have the flat face trigger, though on our Smith & Wesson, they have their take on what we'll call the shoehorn safety, whereas there is no shoehorn or trigger safety on our flat face trigger of our P365. Other than that shoehorn safety, there are no external safeties on either of these two firearms, though if you're someone that wants a safety, both SIG and Smith & Wesson do make manual safety versions of both. Both these firearms, I think, have better sights than many other pocketable 380s on the market, and if you're not a fan of the stock sights, both sights are replaceable. I happen to be a fan of the Siglite Tritium night sights that are on the P365 380, which also probably helps explain why I shoot it a little better than the sights on this Bodyguard 2 carry comp. While I do like the sights on the carry comp, and I think they're a nice upgrade over the original sights, the size of that front dot is big enough to where it's starting to get a little out of what we would call my comfort zone. I would prefer a little more pinpoint precise sight on that front sight. As far as carry firearms go, if I was going to pocket carry these firearms, as we saw in our brief demonstration to start the conclusion today, both firearms with pockets that'll cooperate are perfectly capable of being pocket carried. Usually I tend to gravitate more towards an inside waistband carry than pocket carry, though certain pants, like say sweatpants, aka work pants, I will revert to pocket carry just for simple convenience and because sometimes the waistband of said work pants don't accommodate a inside waistband holster as much as I would like. Though some sweatpants, like the ones I'm wearing today, do a better job of accommodating the holster than others, that's not universal across the board. And there are also, say, my jeans, where pocket carrying in my jeans, while technically I can get a firearm in the pocket of my jeans, the pockets are not of a size to where I could quickly and easily draw from that pocket. I often find myself in many of my pockets having to lean over to dive down and get the firearm, which contributes to slowing me down. And, well, frankly, it's speedier and more convenient for me to draw from that inside waistband than it is to do the deep dive in the pocket. Though, if you're someone that prefers to pocket carry your firearm, again, as I said, both these firearms are easily pocket carryable, at least with the right kind of pants. Some people will say that, well, you can't pocket carry these firearms. And as we saw here today, you absolutely can pocket carry these firearms. You just need to be a little selective in your choice of apparel. When it comes to shootability, both these firearms are reliable. We did see one failure today from our SIG P365 380, though I'm chalking that up to Winchester white box, cheap range ammo, not a firearm problem. We put multiple rounds of self-defense ammo through this firearm for another video on the same day. With all the ammo that we shot other than that one round, we had no problems here today. And on the bright side, with our Bodyguard 2.0 carry comp, we have now more than a dozen different types of defensive ammunition, as well as a few different types of range ammo. And other than one failure in our first range report with the Fiocchi ammo, the firearm has been flawless. And again, I chalk that failure with the Fiocchi ammo up to the cheapest range ammo we could find and the nature of cheap range ammo. So all in all, we do have two excellent, accurate, reliable firearms. And I think the one that you choose really comes down to your personal preference and what your needs are. If you want something that's slightly easier to carry in a pocket, a little narrower, a little lighter, you might gravitate towards the Bodyguard 2 carry comp. So if you want something a little bigger, heavier, slightly bigger, I should say, heavier, with the ability to mount an optic without needing a plate, you might gravitate towards the P365 380. Now, one other note on these firearms are the Bodyguard 2.0 carry comp you can find for around $499, which is pretty close to the price point you can find the P365 380 that's in that sort of $549 range. When I purchased my P365 380, I actually got it for $399, and they were $399-ish, $349 or $399 to $449 when they first came out. And we've seen that price creep up on them now over the years, unfortunately. You may be asking yourself, well, since you've done a video series on the Bodyguard 2 carry comp with its compensator, are you going to purchase the new SIG 380 that's coming out that has the compensator on it? Well, no, we're not. And a big reason we're not is price. Last I saw, that was going to be priced around $1,000. For that price, you can buy easily two of the Bodyguard 2 carry comps, and depending on where you shop, probably even two of the original P365 380s. In order for us to buy something like a $1,000 380, we would need to add 500 times the number of members that we have now, and, well, that's unlikely to happen overnight. Speaking of memberships, if you would like to help us make more of these videos in the future, do more ballistics gel tests, more ammo tests, etc., look into becoming a member. Things like ammo tests and ballistics gel tests can be a little resource intensive, and memberships go a long way in helping us cover those costs. Well, anyway, that seems like the perfect spot to end today's video. If you enjoyed today's presentation, like it, share it with your friends and family. Those things are free, and they really help the channel greatly. If you didn't enjoy today's video, well, like it anyway. No one's going to know that you liked it, and it helps us out greatly. Fred and I really appreciate you getting this far. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day. Are you ready for your French fry?
Oh, hey, those are my French fries. This one's yours.
Are you actually tasting it today, Frederick?
Oh, he's chewing it. He's not actually just like swallowing it right down. It must be good. Must be good, huh? All right. Butcher.